Thank you. Now, there's one more person that I want you to speak to today. And that person should be coming out momentarily. Is he late?
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill's husband. Please sit down. Please. Well, Mr. Secretary, as they say in parts of Claymont I'm from, you've done good, fella. As you can see, I didn't get my English lessons from Jill. Also here is a good friend of mine, a chairman and a Congressman, Bobby Scott. Bobby, stand up. And Randy, thank you. We kept our commitment, didn't we?
Yeah, that's what I said.
All right. And I just want you to know, Becky, Jill is a member of the union. I hope her dues are paid up.
They are.
They are? Okay, I just want to check. There's nowhere we'd rather be than with educators. When we decided to run and we got elected, Jill elected me. You all think I'm kidding, huh? Well, what happened was that we started thinking about it, and I knew immediately. Jill said, "By the way," and I said, "It's okay with me. Teach full time." She's the only first lady who's ever had a full-time job. Now, the fact that I don't ever get to see her, the fact that she is either traveling on behalf of the people of this country or going to her classroom teaching 15 credits at the community college is a different story. But it is who she is. Like I heard her say, she probably has said, I heard her say many times, teaching is not what you all do, it's who you are. It's what you're made of. And one of the things that I used the line years ago that I still think is relevant in a slightly different context. When you think about it, the single most consequential people in the world beyond our parents, God willing, if we have them, is our teachers. You are the ones who, you're the kite strings that lift our national ambitions aloft. I mean, not a joke. It's a reality. It's a reality. One of the reasons why we're working so hard and the Secretary is helping so much in the Build Back Better plan is that the rest of the world is starting to figure this out. The rest of the world is starting to out-educate us. Early education is earlier and more prevalent in European countries. A significant number of, we rank number 34 out of 37 industrial nations in the world, and the number of where we rank in terms of people getting a degree beyond high school. And so we have to get back in step, and you're all the reasons. You're the best of the best. For all of it, by the way, where are my two Delaware teachers?
That's hilarious.
Who's Newcastle? Newcastle, all right. You can see we're not at all proud of Delaware. My dad used to always say, never forget where you came from. As they say, them the one that brung me to the dance, But I want to thank Rebecca, I think, for Colonial Education Program in Newcastle, and Kimberly of McCain High School in Wilmington. That's you? Okay, all right. And now, to the 2 National Teachers of the Year. It's a pretty big deal. I listened to both your speeches, and they're very impressive, and I mean it sincerely. What you do really matters. What you do really matters. And it matters in a way that I think you all don't fully realize. I don't think about, I bet, you know, I look at every important decision I made in my life. I ask myself 3 things, not a joke. What my dad and mom would think I should do. But when we decided to, I'll just tell you a quick story. When I decided to help pick someone who was going to be the nominee for the Democratic Party, I was asked in Delaware to go out and try to find a candidate for the United States Senate. I was 28 years old as part of this group of people. And I kept trying to get people who were consequential to get involved, and they didn't want to do it. And Nixon was running that year, was going to be a lead pipe cinch, Republicans were going to win, and I was a Democrat. And so I showed up at a Democratic convention, an off-year convention, and I went to make sure that everything was going to be okay. And I would report, I was the kid at the convention, and it was in Dover, Delaware. And after the afternoon session, I went back to the hotel, a typical hotel, a motel where you drive up, you get out of the car, you walk in the door. And I was in there, I was shaving, and I had a towel around me. And I was in the bathroom, which is like 8 by 10, and 2 beds with the headboards nailed to the wall and a desk nailed to the wall. And all of a sudden I hear bam, 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 this banging on my door. And I thought it was a guy, a great friend named Bob Cunningham, and a guy named Dennis. I thought they were coming to pick me up. I thought I was late. So I went to the door, shaving cream, razor in my hand, towel on, opened the door. And who's standing there but the former governor of the state of Delaware? Swear to God. A former Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court and Rhodes Scholar, and more members of his family were United States Senators than any family in American history. Thirdly, a congressman who had been defeated earlier, a great guy, 5-term congressman, and a guy named Henry Topel, who was the state chairman. And they said, "We're coming in." I said, and I had not met 2 of them personally. 2 I hadn't met. And I'm in a towel, shaving cream on my face. And so I stepped back. I said, "Gentlemen, okay, please come in." I went in the bathroom thinking I'm going to put something on. I got in and I realized there's nothing to put on. So I wiped the shaving cream off my face and I walked out, and I was mortified. And I said, "I'm sorry, gentlemen." I said, "It's okay." And there were 2 of them, each on the end of each of the 2 beds that were facing me. And I'm against the desk like this. And this guy, Henry Topel, said, and he was from New York, he said, "Joe, we just had dinner. We were thinking. And you should run for the United States Senate." And I said, "Oh, geez, what's, you know." I said, "Mr. Chairman," I said, "I'm not old enough." And the then Chief Justice, this retired Chief Justice, of course, said, "Joe, obviously you didn't do very well in law school." I looked at him. He said, "It says you have to be 30 years old to be sworn in, not to be elected. You can be, and you'll turn 30 by the time it's time to be sworn in." And anyway, that was my exposure, no pun intended. And so I go to the event, and I'm riding home with this guy, Bob Cunningham, who was a really bright guy. And I said, "Bob, I don't know, what in God's name am I going to do? This is crazy." And so I'm thinking, who am I going to talk to? True story. And the next morning I get up and I called my professor at the University of Delaware, a guy named Dr. Ingersoll. And I said, "Doctor, can I come down and see you?" And he said, "Of course." I went down and sat with him for half an hour. I told him what was happening. He just looked at me. He said, "Joe, remember what Plato said." I'm thinking, what the hell did Plato say? But he said, to paraphrase Plato, he said, "The penalty good people pay for not being involved in politics is being governed by people worse than themselves." And he looked at me and said, "Joe, you should run." I said, "But I feel strongly about all these issues, but I got involved in the civil rights movement and the war. He said, "Joe, you should do it." He had enough confidence in me that he gave me confidence in myself. With a kid with no money, coming from a middle-class family, who grew up in grade school stuttering, literally. For me, I'm confident I would have never done it were not for Dr. Ingersoll. I'm sure there are people of each of you can look back at, and they changed your life. But most of all, what you do is you give us confidence. You instill confidence. Just like when I was a kid, when I used to stutter badly, the nuns would sit me down and say, Joey, you can do this, and practice with me. They gave me confidence. And so, folks, you know, as Jill always says, teaching is not what you do, it's who you are. And it also is, like, let me conclude by saying this about something that decency. This is a guy born son of immigrants in New York City, raised in Harlem in the South Bronx, graduated from City College in New York. And he rose to the highest ranks, not only in the military, but also in areas of foreign policy and statecraft. This is a guy, and we talk about it, who had teachers who looked at this African-American kid and said, you can do anything. So all I want to say to you really is don't underestimate what you do. The good news about y'all is you underestimate it, so you come off in a way that you don't feel self-important. But you're gigantic. You make a gigantic difference. And I learned that when Jill and I would walk through the malls on Christmas time when I was a senator, and kids would go, hey, 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 and I'd wave. And they'd say, no, 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 Dr. Biden. Swear to God. So, folks, thank you for what you do. I really mean it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I've got a few little gifts to give here.
This is for Tabitha.
Tabitha, can you come up here? I don't want to drop this. Do you want to hand it to her?
No, you. Me neither.
Tabitha, this is
For 2020.
2020. I know, but this apple is worth $280,000. No,
I can retire.
I'm joking, but I want you to have this and let you know how much we appreciate you and all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm not sure if it fall off.
Yeah. I'll be really careful.
All right.
And this is Juliana's.
Julianis, come on up here. Julianis, I had a great friend who was a former senator from Texas and looked at me one day. He's passed away now, and he said, Joe, you'll never get elected president unless you can learn to speak Spanish.
Smart man.
Well, guess what? I decided to hire everybody who spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
But congratulations. It's a great honor, and I'm delighted to have an opportunity to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.